Hello, my name is Catherine Janine, and in case you missed it, about a week ago, Spotify came out with their year in review. So I looked at my year in review playlist and did the wow, those aren't my top favorite songs. Because when I think about it, you'd think like your year in review top 10 favorite song or top 10 most played songs should be your top 10 favorite songs. Well, mine aren't. So I wanted to take a look at that today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at it. Number 10. Yes, my number 10 spot, according to Spotify, is The Violet Hour by Seawolf, which is a song that I really enjoy, but I would not consider it in my top 10. What I think my number 10 spot for my top 10 songs is...
Taught me love, one taught me patience, and one taught me pain.
Yes, my number 10 song of 2018 is Ariana Grande, Thank You Next. And I really like this song because about 2 years ago, I went through a really, really tough breakup. And I'm over it. I've been living with John for over a year at this point, nearly a year, somewhere in there. And I don't think about my ex anymore. But I'm at the point where it's like, yeah, thank you, next. With my ex because he doesn't matter anymore, but I don't regret our relationship. So, I don't know, I found I could really relate to the song and I've had it on repeat since it came out. Number 9.
I'm a satellite heart, lost in the dark.
Satellite Heart by Anya Maria. So this song I originally was introduced to off of the Twilight Saga New Moon soundtrack, and I was really, really into it, late elementary school, early high school. I was a complete twihard, and I have it on a playlist that plays on rotation in our car a lot, so I can see how it made it into this top 10, but like many of the songs in this top 10, I would not necessarily consider it one of my top 10 songs right now. I really like it. I find it relatable to certain times in your life, but just not one of my favorites. In contrast, my number 9 song on my top 10 list is
From the neighborhood, where our kids from a neighborhood. Take me back to 96. I fall asleep with the radio on.
My personal number 9 is Relentless by the Arkells. I don't know, I wasn't even alive in 1996, and this song is very much about reminiscing about growing up in specifically the 90s, which I personally can't relate to, but I still can relate to the song. It's one of those semi-class, it just came out this year, but I consider it one of those classic songs that you can relate to. And John and I scream this song in the car when we're driving down the highway, when we're just driving around. And I don't know, I find it very relatable. It's just, I love it. I love the sound. I love just the mood of it. I live in a city that has very, very close ties to the Arkells, so it gets played on the radio a lot. So that might be why I love it. John and I always put the radio on when John's driving me to work instead of fiddling around with the Bluetooth. So we listen to the same songs every morning because the station we listen to plays the same songs at the same time. And so we do hear this song a lot in the morning. And when I was writing the script for this piece, John was asleep, and I asked him, hey, what's that song about falling asleep to the radio in 1996 by the Arkells? And he's like, I don't know, because he was asleep. And yeah, I figured it out, but yeah, okay, top 10, number 9, Relentless, Arkells. Give it a listen. There's a link in the description. Number 8.
The legends and the myths nights, the testaments that told the moon and its
Yes, Spotify thinks my number 8 song of this year was Something Just Like This by the Chainsmokers featuring Coldplay, which, okay, maybe I did play it a lot. I don't know how. I hate Coldplay, like, completely. And if I had to pick a Chainsmokers song, I prefer Paris over Something Just Like This. So I find this actually quite funny because yeah, I don't like Coldplay, and there's Chainsmokers songs I like way better. So I don't know how I ended up playing this so much. In reality, my number 8 song is. Yay, we get our first appearance of the Glorious Sons. I love the Glorious Sons. You guys probably saw my vlog from earlier this month. But so you're going to get a lot of Canadian indie on this list in my top 10. The Glorious Sons are a band out of Kingston, and they are fantastic if you've never heard of them. Like, seriously, check them out. I love this song in particular because it's really like upbeat, but also kind of like sad and grungy and rocky. I don't even know how to describe it. It's awesome. John and I were in Kingston over the summer, and we literally played nothing but Glorious Sons while we were in Kingston. It was hilarious. And I actually tweeted out lyrics to this song on my main Twitter, like not my like Twitter account that I give you guys a link to, but on my personal Twitter, I tweeted out lyrics, and Glorious Sons actually liked the tweet, and I died. It was awesome. I love Glorious Sons. Sorry, you're gonna hear a lot of Glorious Sons on this list. They're wonderful. Check them out. Number 7.
Got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I got no roots.
I don't think I can express how much I hate this song. Okay, I shouldn't say it like that. This is No Roots by, do I know the artist? By Alice Merton. And I just, it's one of those songs that you hear on the radio and then it gets stuck in your head for days. And because I had to play this song to put it in this podcast, I know it's going to be stuck in my head for days. And it's probably on my most played because the lady I used to work with used to love this song and she'd play it. And then I'd be bussing home and it'd be stuck in my head. So, of course, I would play it on the bus ride home. And it's just, I it's not a bad song. It's just it was so overplayed last summer, and it's too catchy, and it's just So my number 7 is.
Ammunition. Make bullets out of you.
July Talk Guns and Ammunition. Now, Spotify did actually put this in my top 10 list. We'll talk about that later. And so I obviously do listen to this song quite a lot, and I do like it. Um, I don't agree with Spotify's ranking on it, but again, we'll talk about that later. July Talk is actually one of my favorite bands. We do see them quite a few more times on here. Yes, we do. And I've actually almost seen them twice. They played at my college when I was in first year, but I didn't like them then, so I didn't buy tickets. My roommate was really into them, though. And then John and I had tickets last summer, but John ended up with a really, really bad stomach flu, so we missed the concert. And then they're playing in Toronto in March, but I don't think we're going to buy tickets because they're just the opening act for a show, and so they're only going to play for like 45 minutes, and after fees and stuff, the tickets are really expensive, so we're not going to go see them this time around, but I would like to have the chance to see them in the future. Number 6.
and I'll follow you into the dark.
So this is Death Cab for Cutie. I Will Follow You Into the Dark. And the fact that this song made it to number 6 on my top 10 most played songs of the year is a perfect sign that I take jokes way too far. So, there's a story behind this. Last semester, or no, 2 semesters ago now, maybe even 3 semesters, shit. My buddy and I, we were downtown, and I lived up by the college at this point. And this was like way before John and I even moved in together. And we're photographers. I went to college for photography. And we were just doing some street photography downtown. And it got pretty late. I think this was close to like 11 o'clock or midnight. And we were getting the bus back home. He lived about 2 blocks away from me, both near the college. And I, he's like, "Are you following me?" And I'm like, "I will follow you into the dark." Completely messing up the tune and everything. And he just kind of gave me this look like, "Shut the hell up." And another part of our program was studio time. And you could play music in studio, like our professor didn't really care. So every time he was my partner in studio, and I'm going to preference this with like, this was my best friend. So he was my partner in studio a lot. I would play this song on repeat until he took over my laptop and switched it. So yeah, I took a joke way too far, and now this song is in my top 10 most played songs. Yeah, this is awkward.
Sweet and breath and her tongue so mean, she's angel of small death and the cold scene.
Yay, finally some Hosier. I love Hosier so much. After Gloria Sons, he is probably my second favorite artist of all time. I saw him live in Toronto in September, and he's playing live in Buffalo in, I think, April, maybe. And John and I are seriously debating buying tickets, driving to Buffalo, and getting a hotel for the night to be able to see him again. He is amazing live, he is amazing on the record. Um, and just it's awesome. I don't know how he didn't end up in my top 10 most played. I'm gonna be honest, but so this is Angel of Small Death and the Codeine Scene, and I love the bluesy feel and the quickness. It was amazing. It was amazing to see live, and it makes me so happy. I need to buy this album on vinyl. I don't know why I don't have it yet, but I need to buy it on vinyl. Number 5.
Waking up staring at me, but you're gone now. Look around, I could barely breathe. Still sleeping in, waking up, mattress on the floor, but we're not 17 no more.
So this is 17 by Headley, and I know in the last year or so there's been a lot of controversy surrounding Headley and the rape allegations, and the lead singer was charged for rape in Toronto. So I'm not going to dwell too much on this, but before all this came out, they did release the Cageless album. And again, before all this came out, I was purchased tickets to their show for by a friend, and we all went. And I did listen to the album because, as part of going to a show, you want to know the songs. Um, So, this song in particular probably showed up in my top 10 because I do find it very relatable. Like I've alluded to in the past, I was in a long term relationship with someone as a teenager and it didn't work out. Obviously, I'm with John now. But when this song came out, it was between my ex and John in that time frame. And I found the lyrics very relatable because we started dating when we were 16. We were engaged by 17 and broken up by 19. So the song is a lot about um, loss and how you thought someone was always going to be there and then they're not. And when the song came out, I could relate really, really well, which is probably why I listened to it a lot. Now, considering Spotify's number 5 for me reminds me a lot of my ex, it's ironic that my personal number 5 is a song that was directly introduced to me by John, and that is.
Outside it's 1933, so I'm hitting the bar, and I don't know what's going on anymore.
So, this is 1933 by Frank Turner, and Frank Turner is an artist that John really likes. He's actually one of John's favorites. In the last year and a half that I've known John, I've seen him once, and then John went again with a friend, um, which I kind of wanted to go to too. But when John bought the tickets, I didn't like Frank Turner. And then when it actually got to the day, I didn't have money to buy a ticket last minute, so I figured to just let John go have a guys' night. But Frank Turner does a lot of songs, especially the songs off his Be More Kind album, are very politically driven. Like, some of the songs are 1933, Once We're Anarchists, Make America Great Again. He's very anti Donald Trump, and he's got ideas that John and I can agree with that he displays through his songs. Like, he's very anti racism, calling out um, what is wrong with society these days. And we love the music, we love the message, and John and I have a deal when we go on car trips. If I add one of my weird songs to the playlist, he can add a Frank Turner song. And just with the drive to Montreal, which is almost 15 hours for us, I listened to a lot of Frank Turner this summer and just developed a like for him. So this is the only time he shows up on this list, but he is probably one of my favorite artists. But don't tell John that, except he's totally gonna know because, fun fact, John edits the audio on my videos. Number 4.
Being a liar, being a thief, being a lover, being a cheat. Oh, my sins need holy water, feel it washing over me.
So here we have River by Eminem featuring Ed Sheeran. And I initially listened to this song because Ed Sheeran was on it. And then I am semi a fan of Eminem. Like, I know his most famous songs and stuff. But it caught my attention, and I just found myself listening to it more and more. I guess I listened to it more than I thought I did because it ended up in my top 5 Spotify most played. But yeah, it's I grew up with a Catholic background. I went to Catholic school from grade 5 to grade 12, and I appreciate religious homage in songs and reference to religion. And this song is about cleansing away your sins. And I don't know why, but that really appealed to me when it first came out. And this was one of the songs, along with Bad Husband, Ed Sheeran featuring Ex Ambassadors, that was on repeat in my car for a while. Not really sure why, but yeah, I guess I like it. And then the song I put in my number 4 was.
I was born Friday the 13th in a town of limestone and penitentiary.
And here we've got not only more Glorious Sons, this is Glorious Sons, So Much Love to Give, but we've got more Canadian indie and more of that heavy, grungy rock that I love so much. This song directly references Kingston because, I mean, Little Prison City, Kingston Penitentiary, super haunted. I totally wanted to check that out while we were in Kingston over the summer, but we didn't. But now I'm going off topic. Anyway, I love this song so much. I can't even describe in words how much I love the Glorious Sons. And just the song, and it just relatable, small town. Well, I guess Kingston's not small, but like mid-sized town. Okay, maybe Kingston's a big town. Canadian summers. It's so relatable to me, and just I feel very, I don't know. I love the Glorious Sons. I'm gonna keep going on rants about the Glorious Sons. I'm sorry, you have to hear me rant about how much I love the Glorious Sons at least 2 more times. Number 3.
She took a cab out of town and then she turned it around. She said they'll never let me leave this place.
More Glorious Sons, but we are going to talk about this song a little bit later because it does show up in my top 10 list. This is Josie by the Glorious Sons, but we'll get more on that later.
Really dressed, looking for love along the plateau. The girls are young, a little dumb, and they're going it alone.
Yay, more July Talk. So this is Summer Dress by July Talk, and it is really good. This is one of those songs that last January, when we moved in together, John and I had on repeat in our car, and the first 3 weeks we lived here, we were going out every single night after work to pick up stuff that we didn't know that we needed, that we had just taken for granted when we lived with our parents, or because I had been living in a college dorm, I didn't need when I lived in the dorm. And so we just played it a lot, and it developed into one of my favorites. Obviously, this is my number 3 favorite song of all time right now. Number 2.
Girl, it feels good. It feels good, girl, it feels good. Oh, to be alone with you.
So Spotify kind of got it right here. This is To Be Alone by Hozier, in what is my number 2 most played song of the year. And like I said, I do like Hozier. It is actually a Hozier song that is in my number 2 spot. So why don't we give that a listen?
Detectives ride round picking up clues. We'll name our children Jackie and Wilson. Raise them on rhythm and blues.
John and I played this song non-stop the first 2 weeks we lived in this apartment. And I am not exaggerating. Seriously, this was on non-stop. We debated naming Loki and Frey Jackie and Wilson, because there's a whole story. We thought Frey was a girl. That's a story for another time. But yeah, this song reminds me of moving. And I know you don't want to be like, oh my God, you don't want to think about moving. Moving sucks. But I moved from a really bad situation with my old roommate to a really awesome situation living with John. And just this song is so nostalgic. It brings me back to last January when we moved. And yeah, it's my number 2 favorite song of all time. And that was Jackie and Wilson by Hozier, if you're not familiar. Number 1.
My guns and ammunition, two very different things.
Yep, my number 1 most played song of 2018 was Guns and Ammunition by July Talk, which, if you remember, I rated in at my number 7 favorite song of all time. So it's interesting that I played my number 7 song more than I played my number 1 song, which, yeah, so what's my number 1's favorite song of all time? Ooh.
All the locals know her as Jo. She drinks Manhattans and wears gentlemen's clothes.
Yep, my favorite song of all time is Josie by the Glorious Sons. And if you want to know how much I love this song, check out this clip that I deleted from the original cut of the Glorious Sons vlog.
Now, that he never put up, not a place in the bed, but when he's coming down, does he see something that he don't see in himself? And actually looks the other way when he's fucking around. All the locals know you don't know why she lives so fast and she moves so slow. Josie, rise closely to the light.
Yes, that is my horribly embarrassing singing in the background. It wasn't, I don't think I was actually singing that loud. I was holding my camera, so obviously the audio picks up better than the artist who is across the stadium. But yeah, I cut it because I thought it was awkward, but I thought it was relevant to this video. So, yeah, Josie is my all-time favorite song. I love it so much. Um, John and I actually plan to name one of our firstborn daughter Josephine and call her Josie after this song, which I know sounds bad because if you listen to the lyrics of the song, it's about like Josie rides closely to the line. She's high and she's trying to get by. But like I don't know, it just we love it so much, and that's one of those songs we discovered. The first song by the Glorious Sons we listened to was Everything's All Right, and then the second song was Josie, and just Josie just stuck. But I love the Glorious Sons. I love Josie. This was my top 25 songs compared to what's my top 25 songs streamed on Spotify are. I hope you like this video. Um, if you like it, subscribe, leave a comment, like this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye.